And most people, they get devoured by these evil giants. And the evil giants that you are dealing with are actually like living beings in many ways. And you can battle the giants and you can overcome them and not let them destroy you. And the holy people are there to help you. You are one of their children, is the way that we are told. Diné chendan hitten kinodi. Ye so nenigi bahan neki e yahdi tashi hajodo begeda tita. Ye hat nenigi ye ndata beke hoye dolde. E bahat tatni lata. Ye aro tot so hat nenigi e yahin sago. Hat ishin saigi e ol yadi katebe benachidi kat hoye dolde. She got a job at it. Oh, how you but that it in the teaching their hashing talk of it net all day. In the traditional teachings of our people, we have stories in that of the past. And a lot of it people would consider, just legends or stories and that have no real meaning. But the majority of the stories that are told by our people are symbolism, symbolic. Very important to understand the symbolism and that associated with the stories that are told. And that is the emergent stories, the coyote stories, and the oral history, the songs, the prayers, and the ceremonies. All of these are just very much symbolism oriented. So it's very important to understand the words in that are used to tell about these symbols. For example, giants. Giant, when a lot of people hear the word giant, they want to think about actual human beings that are very big. And I've had comments about the red-haired giant and just giants everywhere, just going about and doing what they do as giants. And that gives the wrong information as far as what giants were. In the teachings of our people, the place that giants are mentioned is where the two boys. Now, I always talk about it as the two boys, but most people, of course, in great error, refer to them as hero twins. They are not twins. One is the son of Changing Woman, and the other one is the son of White Shell Woman. The White Shell Woman and Changing Woman are cousins. And so it is that they each have a son. And those are the two boys, so they are not twins. And those are the two boys that go and journey to visit their father. And their purpose to go to their father was to acquire weapons and that they could use against the giants. And so the story goes that the two boys, of course, made the journey to their father that watches us by sunlight. And it is that they made that journey and they encountered guides along the way. They encountered mentors and people that were very wise, and that these people made them aware that there was only one path to the Father, and that if they took the wrong path at any time along the way, it would lead to their destruction. And so they had to be very cautious as they journeyed on this path to see their father. And then when they finally do get to the father, he subjects them to testing. So he tests them physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. One example is that he put them into a very hot sweat lodge. And it was a very dangerous type of thing. And they had to figure out and be able to save themselves from being killed in that hot sweat lodge. But that's only one example. But they do eventually pass all of the tests that the Father subjects them to. And then they ask for the weapons. And the Father is reluctant to give them the weapon that would destroy the main giant that they wanted to do away with. Because the Father says, that giant is also one of my children. And so he explained that he was going to give them weapons anyway to destroy the other giants on that were destroying the surface people. And so it was finally that he did give them the weapons and that to return to the surface of Mother Earth with the weapons that they needed to destroy all of the giants that were killing the five-fingered being, or the surface people. The other giants the two boys had to destroy were created by the five-fingered beings themselves. And this was done by the perverted sexual behavior that took place during the separation of the sexes. Now, there is traditional stories about where first man and first woman had an argument, and it could progress to the point of where all of the women went to one side of the river and the men remained on one side of the river. And during that time, they indulged in perverted sexual behavior. And that's what brought into existence these things and that were considered evil giants. And so the story goes that the evil giants were actually living things. And the giants, of course, were beings that would destroy the mind, and it would destroy the heart, and it would destroy the body, and it would destroy the spirit. And these were the type of giants that the Surfa people, or the five-fingered being, or the Diné, had to deal with. And so the two boys, of course, acquired the weapons and that to destroy these evil giants. The story about the two boys and all of the other teachings and stories and that contain many symbolic teachings. And so you cannot look at any of the coyote stories or the emergence stories, the oral history stories, and the prayers, songs, ceremonies, and stuff without understanding that there are just many symbolic issues in that associated with the way that the teachings of our people are presented. So when we look at the teachings of our people in that way, we don't look so much for the actual physical existence of the red-haired giant, or the existence of tall, large people that we could consider giants. Yes, there were giants in the land and in the country, but they are just people, just like the teaching that says they are also the children of the holy people. We have to understand that the symbolism in that are of a higher learning, and you have to understand that there are so many different ways to understand the symbolic presentations and that in the traditional oral history, coyote stories and the emergent stories and that our people tell. So it is that we have to understand things on a spiritual level to be able to see things in a spiritual way, to be able to hear teaching in a spiritual way. If you try to understand these things in a non-spiritual way, it's not something that's going to be acceptable to you, and you won't be able to comprehend the symbolism and that is being taught at a spiritual level. And that is a very important thing. And I think that when we as Diné go into the sweat lodge and we talk about these things, that is the one thing that we have to understand, that there are things that can only be understood and received at a spiritual level. And so the symbolism and that of the two boys' journey to their father to acquire weapons and to come down and destroy the giants and that. And the giants are, of course, giants that are actually in our lives today. And so what are these real giants? People want to know. We are surrounded by these giants. All of us have individual and even many giants in our lives that we have to contend with. And those giants, of course, are such things as giant hate of goodness, giant ignorance, and then giant hate of liberty, giant hate of our fellow men, or the giant society of lawlessness and of giant disobedience, giants of greed. And there are just so many different giants in that we have to deal with in our lives, individual lives, and in society itself. The end game of all of these giants is actually to destroy us And we can allow that to happen if we don't understand and comprehend the dangers that these giants in our lives are a threat to us. And they are here to mislead, to pervert, and destroy the things of goodness in our lives or in our environment or in our families or anywhere that we are living as the five-fingered being, as a surface being, or as the human being. And that's what these giants in our lives, and that's the big symbolism in that. That's so very important to understand in the story of the two boys making their journey to their father to acquire weapons. And the weapons are here. And it is that we have access to these weapons. One of the main ones, of course, is prayer. Prayer are very personal, but they are direct lines of communication to the holy people to ask for help and their assistance, and they are always there. And we have symbolism and that involved. As far as the Diné, we have the corn pollen, tatatin, and we also have the natatsui, the cornmeal, and then all of the other symbolism and that in the ceremonies and that our people conduct. All of them are there for our protection. And it is to protect our mind, to protect our heart, and to protect our physical self, and of course to protect our spiritual being. And so the important thing is to understand that all of these areas of our being need protection. And the only way that you can really acquire that protection is through the prayers and that, and then being obedient and recognizing there are certain things that are very sacred. You must understand to keep things sacred that are sacred. And those are the things that come from the holy people. They make it available to us and to be able to see and to look at and to touch and to actually have the access to the physical symbolism and that available to us. And it is also that just like the two boys that made their journey to acquire help and weapons and that from their father, we have all of that available to us. And just like the two boys, they had help from mentors and from people that would guide them along the correct path. Today we have people who are willing to help us if we ask. And they are there as mentors and as guides and as examples. Now these people, of course, provide very wise counsel, but we have to be willing to listen and to understand what they have to say. And some of them are alive today, and some of them have passed on into the next world. But yet they leave behind writings and evidence of their accomplishments. And it is that we can look at these things and understand what they had to experience to overcome the giants in their lives and the way that they did that. And we can learn by the example of other people. And the people had battles with the evil giants and that to accomplish the things that they did in their lives. The other thing to understand is that to conquer and destroy the giants in your life requires change and growth on your part. And any type of change or growth is a very painful experience. And most people don't want to do the changing required. And they get devoured by these evil giants in their lives. And there are so many things in that we can look at and see that influence us. And some are good, some are bad. And the ones that will destroy us, of course, are the ones that are things we have to be aware of. But the holy people understand that when we require and ask for their help, and they are there for us because we are their children. They are concerned about us. And there's not even really any way to change the world. You have to change yourself. And the change requires something from inside of you and at a spiritual level. And the evil giants that you are dealing with are actually like living beings in many ways. And you encounter them. And so it is that the teaching of our people is that you can accomplish the things you need to do, and you can battle the giants in your life, and you can overcome them and not let them destroy you. And the holy people are there to help you. You are one of their children, is the way that we are told. Is what we are told.
Hey, thanks for watching our videos. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads. Also, head over to our website, NavajoTraditionalTeachings.com. Sign up for our email list. Okay.